Hey team, welcome to the Tinley Park 2024 training video. In this video, we'll show you everything you need to know to get a baseline understanding of how to be a hawker with us at Tinley Park this summer. First, let's go over our general operation overview. Now, let's get to know your venue. Credit Union 1 Amphitheater is a concert venue for summer season outdoor concerts. The venue can be broken up into three main areas, starting with our plazas, with West Plaza being near Gate 2, the one you walk in after you check in, and East Plaza being on the far side of the venue. The bowl, which are the seating areas under the shelter, and then the outdoor lawn, which is a general admission area, and we will primarily hawk here and in the bowl once the show starts. Parking is at the North Gravel Lot, which is right next to Tinley Park, so that's great and very convenient. Once you park, then you'll head straight from the parking lot to Gate 2 and check in with Live Nation and EATS2SEATS staff under the white Live Nation tent. There, we will audit your uniform to make sure it's work appropriate, and then we will give you an EATS2SEATS hat and a Live Nation t-shirt, as well as some Live Nation credentials before sending you into the main plaza to get to the vending hub. Please remember you must bring a valid photo ID to check in or you will not be allowed to work. Once you enter Gate 2, walk to the left of the stage and that will take you up a ramp, and at the very end of the ramp on the left, go down that corridor and you'll find our vending hub. Once you get to the vending hub, check in with your vending lead and see what needs to be done. Help your vending lead with any setup responsibilities and then get ready for the shift. Next, let's go over what to expect as a hawker at Tinley Park. Hawking in general is mobile vending. You'll be carrying around a strapped tub of beer, seltzer, water, and shaker cocktails. To do this role effectively, you must be able to carry 10 to 30 pounds of product around the venue. And why would you hawk carrying around all that weight? Because it's a great way to make big tips. There are no tip pools, so you keep what you make. Fans don't want to leave their seats and miss the show and have to wait in line for a drink, so the more you hustle and make it easy for them, the more money that you'll make. Best practices for hawking are always upselling. Make sure that you're upselling our highest value items, such as shaker cocktails, to maximize both sales and tip splits for the night. Also, make sure that you're following our EATS2SEATS cashier script and saying cheers after each sale. Over-communicate with your beer runners and your site lead and your vending lead on restock needs, because if we bring it to you, that's less wasted time during sales that you had to come back to the vending hub to restock. We need you deployed for as long as possible and selling product for as long as possible during the shift. If the vending hub is behind on shaker production, step in and help produce, because again, these are some of our highest value items, so this is the only time where you would drop your tray to help with production in the vending hub if you could not get enough shakers. Next, let's review our leadership structure at Tinley Park. First off, running everything is our site lead, who will be the point of contact for all things EATS2SEATS on site. The site lead will be the first to arrive, the last to leave, and ensure all personnel matters are handled. Then we have our vending lead, and the vending lead will be responsible for managing the inventory and the production of shaker cups in the vending hub. They will always be stationed in the vending hub. Production will be supported by the site lead and beer runners when demand is pacing. Then we have area leaders or beer restockers. These guys will be designated as our MVP hawkers because they are hawkers who will lead by example and be motivated to beat sales of other hawkers. Then at the bottom of our hierarchy, we have our beer hawkers, and every shift will bring 10 to 20 hawkers depending on the ticket sales and client requests. Hawkers will be allocated to specific teams in specific areas that we'll review later for organization to ensure that we maximize sales volume for the night. Next, let's review our team system relative to the stadium map. Remember, check-in is at Gate 2 and vending hub is straight through the West Plaza and to the left side of the West Bowl. The west side of the stadium is the side closest to check-in, and the east side of the stadium is the side furthest from check-in. Every shift you work as a hawker with us, you'll be designated to one of 6 geographic areas within the venue. First, we have our west lawn, which is the lawn side closest to the vending hub. Then we have our east lawn, which is the side opposite of the vending hub. Then we have our east bowl, which is the far side seating relative to the vending hub and check-in. And then we have our west bowl side, which is the side of the inner seating closest to the vending hub. Finally, we have our plaza sections, with East Plaza being the furthest gate from check-in and West Plaza being the plaza that you walk in directly after entering Gate 2 at check-in. Remember, once we deploy from the vending hub, the goal is for you not to return to the vending hub to restock. We will have leadership on site to restock you so that you can spend all of your time on site maximizing sales and your own tip splits. Next, let's dive into our general EATS2SEATS policy review. In regards to preparation before your first shift, The first thing you need to do is make sure that you have the EATS2SEATS Staff app downloaded and that you know how to use it. You're always going to want to sign up on the home tab of your EATS2SEATS Staff app for an event. Starting 14 days out from the event, you'll be prompted to confirm your attendance for the event, and then once you're confirmed, you'll receive a shift assignment on your EATS2SEATS Staff app. Obviously, you'll be required to complete your venue-specific training and your alcohol training before being able to sign up, and your hawker position-specific training, and you can do all this on either the My Trainings tab of your EATS2SEATS Staff app, or you can upload a copy of your Bassett certificate on the My Profile tab of your EATS2SEATS Staff app. Once you've successfully signed up for your event and you've completed all of your training requirements, then you can access the event-specific GroupMe, which we use for communications, and the event logistics, which has parking and check-in information, as well as uniform reminders and alcohol training reminders on the document. All of this can be found within your EATS2SEATS Staff app. Once you're in the event-specific GroupMe, we'll also send a leadership one-pager in the event GroupMe so you know who your leadership team is for the shift. Next, let's review my trainings and your training requirements before coming on site and after you've already finished your onboarding. All of your venue-specific, position-specific, and alcohol training requirements can be completed on the My Trainings tab of your EATS2SEATS Staff app. We have 3 training requirements for all staff, which I just listed: venue-specific, position-specific, and alcohol training if your venue serves alcohol. Each training module consists of a video, a slide deck, and a quiz that you must pass with a 100% score. And they are a bit lengthy, so make sure that you set aside ample time to complete these trainings and to give it your best shot. You will be required to complete your specific training requirements before working. Next, let's review your venue-specific training requirements. Your venue-specific training will get everyone to a baseline understanding of how to operate at a venue through a comprehensive training program. This training portion will cover event logistics, our operational matrix, positions available, how to perform those responsibilities, event timeline information, and tips to maximize your tips, amongst other things. Again, these videos are about 20 minutes in length, and you will be required to complete this, so make sure you set aside ample time to give it your best shot. When you first start your career at EATS2SEATS, you will be prompted with entry-level position-specific trainings such as staff food and staff alcohol on your staff app. This position-specific training specializes all of our positions available at a venue through a comprehensive training program, which covers job responsibilities, shift length expectations, how to perform those responsibilities, tips for success, and to overall give you a baseline preparation for your role. If you end up getting promoted within our ranks, you will be assigned to a leadership position-specific training, and you must complete that before your promotion is finalized. Your last training requirement is our alcohol training requirement, and this may not be required at your venue, so be sure to check with your ROD. It will be displayed in your My Trainings tab of your EATS2SEATS Staff app if it's required. It'll cover general alcohol serving laws, proper service etiquette, understanding of blood alcohol concentration in different types of people, and understanding how to handle complex customer interactions. These trainings are about an hour in length, and you may also upload your alcohol training certificate on the My Profile tab of your EATS2SEATS Staff app if you end up not being able to on your My Trainings tab. The 2 primary types of alcohol trainings we utilize are liquor exam and teams, and you can see 2 examples of those types of certificates on the right side of the screen. And for the final segment of this video, let's go over general EATS2SEATS policies that you need to be aware of before coming on site. Next, let's review the enforcement wing of our disciplinary policy. This is our written warning system, which will all be deployed through the EATS2SEATS Staff app. Every employee is allowed 3 written warnings depending on the type of violation before your employment with us will be terminated. Primary causes for receiving a written warning include tardiness, dropout, dress code violations, conduct unbecoming of an EATS2SEATS staff member, violating cheers values, or a venue complaint. If you receive a venue complaint, it will result in automatic termination. Again, you can find all of your written warnings if you receive one in the My Warnings tab of your EATS2SEATS Staff app. You may also appeal any written warning directly through your staff app as well. Next, let's review our general policies. First is our dropout policy, where if you drop out from an event you've signed up for and that you're on the final roster for within 24 hours of the event's held on and start date, you will receive a written warning. You are allowed up to 3 written warnings for any category of disciplinary action before your employment with us will be terminated. Then we have our tardiness policy, which requires staff to arrive within 30 minutes of the designated report time window for any event you sign up for, or you will receive a written warning. Again, as soon as you hit 3 written warnings for anything, you will be terminated. Next, let's review our uniform policy. Our uniform policy dictates that staff must arrive in all black with a plain black hat with black non-slip shoes being preferred. You also need to make sure that you have a black pair of slacks or a black pair of professional fingertip length shorts that are not athletic shorts. Athletic shorts are not allowed at Tinley Park. Also, make sure you're not wearing any excessive jewelry when you come on site as well. Once you get to check-in, you'll be given a Live Nation t-shirt and an EATS2SEATS hat to wear as well. In case we're short on hats, that's why we require staff to wear a plain black, non-branded hat. Then we have our cashless venue policy, which acknowledges that you as a hawker will not take any cash for tips or sales when a venue is cashless, such as Tinley Park. Then we have our service standard policy, which is an acknowledgement that you will not wear AirPods during a shift, have your hood on, wear sunglasses, be on your phone in front of customers, you won't eat food in front of customers, and you will not sit down anywhere outside of the vending hub. To confirm, you shouldn't be sitting down anyway, because once sales start, that's our opportunity to maximize sales and tips for the night. Lastly, we have our tipping theft policy, which acknowledges that you must have a customer tap their card and to select a tip amount for themselves. If you are ever caught tipping yourself without a customer's consent, you will be terminated immediately. Next, let's review our alcohol policies at Tinley Park. Alcohol law number 1 is that you should never serve more than 2 alcoholic drinks per customer. If they already have one in their hand, shaker, or beer, you may only serve them 1 more. Law number 2 is that you must ID every customer, and if you have any doubt as to the validity of the ID, you are empowered to say no. Your EATS2SEATS site leadership team has your back if you have any doubts. Alcohol law number 3 is that we must open every beer we serve, including cans and liquid death. We must keep the caps if it's a bottle and throw them away at the end of the shift. You also may never serve to a customer that already seems intoxicated, and if you have any concern as to the inebriation level of the customer, you are empowered to say no. Some shaker cup specific notes: similar to the 2 beer limit, never serve a customer more than 2 shakers at a time. Again, if they already have one in their hand, you may only serve them 1 more. Lastly, once you get to the vending hub, you'll complete a repeat after me oath, acknowledging that you understand all of our alcohol policies and that you will be vigilant in enforcing them with your vending lead. Next, let's review what to do once you check in and get to the vending hub. Let's review our general event timeline for a Tinley Park event. Important times during the event are the report time, the sales start time, the intermission period of a show, alcohol cutoff, and Closedown. Here's an example of a Tinley Park event timeline on the right side of your screen. Doors and sales start will always be an hour before the first act goes on, and staff report time will always be approximately 2 hours before doors. Also meaning that staff report time will always be 3 hours before the first act goes on. Immediately after you check in, you'll get your employee meal before heading to the vending hub. Once you get to the vending hub, then you will communicate with your vending lead to get your hawking tub set up and then to get your point of sale system from your site lead. About 15 minutes before sales start, then we will deploy to our designated areas, and then once the first act goes on stage, we will transition from mainly the plazas to mainly the inner bowl and lawn areas. Once alcohol sales cut off approximately 3 to 3.5 hours after the first act goes on, then we will continue selling food and water until the show ends, and then once your vending lead calls all hawkers back for the night, that's when you will help your vending lead shut down and clean up for the night. Next, let's review the check-in flow. First off, make sure you arrive on time or you'll receive a written warning. Once you park at the North Gravel lot, then you'll make your way directly across from the lot to Gate 2 and the white Live Nation check-in tent. There, you will get your Live Nation polo and a wristband or Live Nation credentials from your site lead at check-in. Then the site lead will review our break and meal policy, and then you'll get your family meal before continuing through the West Plaza before finally making it to the vending hub. Once you're at the vending hub, then you will connect with your vending lead and see what setup responsibilities need to be completed. You'll help them either count down inventory or get other hawkers set up for the shift. Then you will get your point of sale system and your point of sale login information and a troubleshooting rundown from your site lead before then finally stocking your tub with the beer restockers in your vending lead and then deploying about 15 minutes before gates. Once sales start, make sure you're communicating with your vending lead to move from geographic area to geographic area, for example, the plaza to the lawn once the first act goes on stage. 20 minutes before you deploy to your geographic area, all EATS2SEATS personnel on site will gather in a large circle for a pre-shift huddle. Everyone will introduce themselves, and then your vending and site lead will thank everyone for being there. Then your site lead will review all of our general policies, including alcohol laws, go over the flow of the operation like geographic assignments and when to shift, and then acknowledge the fact that everyone is here to make money, and also provide point of sale troubleshooting tips and other venue specific information such as what the crowd might be thirsting for throughout the night. Once your site lead has concluded the pre-shift huddle, everyone will gather back in the circle with their left arm in, and then your site lead will count down from 3, 2, 1, and everyone will give a big resounding cheers before finally deploying for sales. Next, let's review how to operate during sales at Tinley Park. Next, let's take a deep dive into our organization during sales, like our geographic area assignments and the snake pattern formation. In regards to area assignments, you'll be designated to a specific area of Tinley Park for the duration of the shift, like West Lawn, East Lawn, West Bowl, East Bowl, West Plaza, and East Plaza as seen on the right. In regards to our snake pattern, within your area, always stay moving consistently and follow a snake route that maximizes the coverage of your area. This pattern also allows you to sell it to as many customers as possible within your area without getting bogged down in one location or with one group of customers. You can't do a full snake pattern in the plazas, but still be mobile and don't stay in the same location within the plazas unless sales are great. Lastly, always remember to chase sales, and if sales aren't great in your area, discuss that with your vending lead and potentially transitioning to another area of emphasis. We may audible on site and change your area assignment to another high volume sales area, even if sales are going well, and the goal is always to maximize sales and tips throughout the course of the shift. Next, let's review our hawking flow with dynamic positioning to maximize sales throughout the course of sales. From the time gates open to the first act, we're going to have 8 to 10 hawkers by the gates in the concourse. We're going to have 6 on the ramps leading up to the inner seating and the lawn, and then we're going to have 6 hawkers on the lawn. Once the opener goes on, we'll have 4 hawkers on the ramps up to the amphitheater, we'll have 8 hawkers throughout the inner bowl, and then we'll have 8 hawkers on the lawn. Note that once the opener goes on, we will have very little, if any, hawkers still remaining in the plazas. Once the main act goes on, then we will be full throttle with 12 hawkers on the lawn area and 8 hawkers hawking throughout both the east and west bowls until sales stop. A big part of maximizing sales is deciding what product to sell. So let's review what kind of product you should sell relative to the time frame in regards to sales. When gates open, that's a great time to sell shaker cocktails. It's normally the earliest time in the day of the concert, the sun is out, and people want their liquor. Shakers are our highest value item, so always be selling shakers. If you've been walking around for over 10 minutes though, and you haven't sold a cocktail, that's the moment when you go back to vending and try something else. The moral of the story here is be dynamic and listen to what customers are asking for. Another important time frame is 30 minutes before sales end, or once the alcohol cutoff period ends, start selling water. We should always be selling water, but really start upselling water at this point, because fans have been drinking on site for around 4 hours, and this is what they want or need at the right time. To confirm, you should always be hawking water. We're simply emphasizing that near the end of the show, you'll want to load up with more water than alcohol. Again, y'all, the moral of the story here is just be dynamic and listen to customers. If you notice that something isn't selling for you, go back to the vending hub and switch it out for something else. Just don't get married to that last Coors Light before you go back to refill your whole tub if that product item is not selling. Don't be afraid to move on to something else. However, shaker cocktails are very popular and they are our highest value item, so we will always want to be consistent with the amount of sales volume we're doing with shaker cocktails. Next, let's review how to work your point of sale during the shift. At Tinley Park, all hawkers will get a handheld point of sale system, and remember, you're going to get your login instructions and your PIN from your site lead before you leave the vending hub before sales. These point of sale systems are fairly easy to use. Simply click the plus button on a product item to add it to your customer's order, then you'll click the cart button in the top right corner, and then you'll click that green credit button to prompt the customer transaction, and then you'll flip it to the customer and allow the customer to pay with their card and to select the tip option themselves. If you're having any issues logging in or completing transactions, return to the vending hub ASAP so your vending lead can fix your point of sale system. Next, let's review some tips for you to drive more sales and to generate more tip splits. First, always utilize the EATS2SEATS service script to upsell and to maximize sales. Always follow up any customer transaction by saying cheers. Be loud and be proud. You're there to make money, and we want people who will walk around yelling out the product items they have and grabbing customers' attention, because fans will not buy from you if you're walking quietly around and waiting for them to approach you. Also, if you approach them, that'll only serve you in regards to your tip split from that transaction. Also, have a personality and have a good time interacting with customers. Be personable, ask them about how their day is going, and simply ask them if they're enjoying the show. Some notes on tips: you keep what you hustle for. There's no tip pool, and all credit tips you get, you will keep, and they will be paid out to you on the next payroll. Also remember, you may never self-tip yourself, and if you are caught doing so or accused so by the venue, you will be immediately terminated. Lastly, let's review our closedown and checkout procedures. An important note about concert venues is that closedown time varies depending on how long the acts stay on stage. This is very specific to concert events with EATS2SEATS. Your vending lead will clearly communicate when the proper time for alcohol cutoff and to come back to the vending hub for closedown is, so just make sure that you're paying attention to our communication channels. Staff closedown responsibilities include bringing your tub, any remaining product, and your point of sale system back to the vending hub, to put any remaining product back into the cooler, and to give your vending lead the final inventory counts from your tub, to dump your ice, to help lock and close all of our ice bins, to break down cardboard boxes and to put trash bags on top of that cardboard. And then once your vending lead says you're good to go, to check out with your site lead at the vending hub and return your Live Nation polo, any Live Nation credentials you may have, and your point of sale system. And then you must confirm with your site lead that your point of sale system is in working condition and that no problems occurred with it during the shift. During closedown, your vending lead and your area leads or beer restockers will be helping hawkers empty their tubs and dumping their ice in the vending hub. They'll be helping throw away trash and break down cardboard boxes. They'll be helping the vending lead get an ending inventory count of the entirety of the product in the vending hub, and then they will help the site lead finalize the inventory paperwork at the end of the shift. The site lead during closedown will be checking everybody out, collecting EATS2SEATS hats and Live Nation t-shirts, ensuring point of sale systems are returned and in working condition, finalizing the inventory paperwork with the vending lead, ensuring trash is in an easy place for warehouse to grab, and that the cooler is organized before they leave. Once all of these are done, we are officially closed down for the night. The overarching theme of closedown is to leave the vending hub the way we found it, unless we found it in a bad state, and at that point, we would try to leave it better than we found it. Thank you for watching this video. Please text any questions you have to your ROD or shoot us an email to support@EATS2SEATS.com and we will get back to you ASAP. Remember, you must score 100% on the Tinley Park 101 quiz on the My Trainings tab of your EATS2SEATS staff app before you're able to sign up for events at Tinley Park with us. Also be sure you complete your Bassett training and upload that on the My Trainings tab of your EATS2SEATS staff app as soon as you can as well. Thank you for watching this. May God bless America, may God bless Tinley Park, and may God bless EATS2SEATS.